Alright everybody, welcome back. We are not doing the multi-stream thing, unfortunately. But fortunately, we do have another set in Alchemy League to cast. Can't do the multi-stream thing, or at least we're trying it without, because it seemed very laggy last time. It seemed that the resource requirements of Capture Age and then running Restream, it was just all too demanding for my PC. So we're going to see if it works a little bit better, because I seem to remember before multi-stream not having those kinds of challenges. So we're going to try this out. If you guys feel that the video quality is better, it's less choppy as a result of not doing the multi-stream, then we will just stick with YouTube, because that's where the majority of the views are anyway. So we got Ronald Rage versus Napoleon here. We are on Gichigume. That is the home map. Not home map, but is the map of the week for Alchemy League for this particular week. And they have both docked. You start with a villager on the coastline and 2 villagers inland. Let's take a look at these players real quick. Before I forget, I always like to look at the players and where they are in the seeding. So the Napoleon is down here. He is estimated to be around 1050 elo. And Ronald Rage is up here at around 1323. So the Napoleon has actually been approved for some 5% handicap. Although Ronald was saying that he forgot to take the handicap in at least one of the games. So he is going to be the underdog here. The Napoleon is up in this. They're actually further away this time. He has picked the Huns. And on Nomad, the Huns are actually good now, or well, kind of good, I guess. They get a scout. You also start with a little bit of extra wood on this map, so that the Huns, even the Huns, can build a dock immediately. So the Huns get this Hunnic horse. So we'll have to see. I've seen Huns on this map commonly, I would say. When I played my set against Alexander, he also picked the Huns for this map, but unfortunately the recording for that game is not available due to a mistake. But it was a good game. So we got this Hunnic horse running around, and he's going to try to find Ronald. Ronald getting loom early, which tells me that Ronald's food income is not the best. He may have picked Mongols because he wants to take advantage of the hunting bonus. I don't think there's enough deer on this map to justify. Well, you know, I guess when you consider the geese, it could be pretty good, but the geese are pretty scrawny. I think they have less food in them. Let's see. Yeah, there's only 50 food in each goose, so one goose is fully sufficient to feed a single villager for his entire life. So I guess all things considered, that's a lot of food, but when you compare it to deer, which are 140, it's enough to feed almost 3 villagers for their entire life. So they're only about a third of the size of deer. Now, I don't know what Ronald's going to do with the Mongols. I would assume that Ronald is going to do some kind of castle drop with Mangadai, and there isn't a lot of space to run around here. I think, and I made this mistake myself, I think players do not wall to the edge of the map here, and I think you should. I think you should wall to the edge of the map, because if you do, it opens up a lot more options for you. In terms of military exploits, you can make slow units and not have to worry about getting raided by some stupid unit like Cav Archers. So Ronald has what? He only has 1 fishing ship? What's going on? Maybe Ronald has been sending everything over to food. And he doesn't have the wood for fishing ships. I see 2 fishing ships from Ronald, and he's building another one. How's the Napoleon doing? You don't have to build houses, so you can put all of your wood production to making fishing ships. But I only see 1 fishing ship from the Napoleon. We are only 7 minutes in, though. So I might have to adjust and see what my capture age settings are, because it still feels like it's laggy. Like it's not responding as well as it did when I cast the King of Ireland tournament. So we'll keep messing with that. The Napoleon has built a mill here. This is a bad mill. Seriously, it's like 2 extra tiles to walk to get the deer. What are you doing? You built a mill here. You will need a mill for making a market, but I think a better investment would have been a lumber camp, like right here, on this wood line. That's just my feedback, though. I'm not really much of an authority on how to play Age of Empires. I guess in theory I play it around a 1300 level, but all things considered, when you think about the people that make a name for themselves with Age of Empires, they are much better players than I am. Nice, we got ourselves a moonwalking deer here. So the Napoleon does seem to be pretty good at spending his resources and at keeping his town center busy. He's only got 8 seconds of town center idle time compared to Ronald, so he's got a cleaner Dark Age, and that tells me that Napoleon has a lot of opportunity to get better at the game. And it's just about his decision making is the reason that Ronald has a better elo than Napoleon at this point, like this questionable mill right here. So Napoleon not investing much into water. Ronald's already on 4 fishing ships. He's making a 5th. And Napoleon, he's only made 2 fishing ships. Maybe the reason he hasn't made another one is because he's going up to the feudal age. So he's going up to the feudal age, and maybe his plan is to sink Ronald's fish. He's long distancing the wood here. Okay, he is building a lumber camp. It's a decent lumber camp, I think. I think he should wall this off here. Gichigumi is somewhat of a closed map, really. There's not really any excuse to die to mobile units on this map. If you die to mobile units on this map, then you have messed up royally. Because the 2 units that you are going to make are probably infantry, siege, army composition to push across this plain, or ships. It's not really an open map. You should not be getting away with cav archers or knights really on this map, given that there are more cost-effective options, given the amount of space that's available. So I'm not really sure what exactly Napoleon is doing. He has 1 on gold somewhere. I'm wondering where it is. I don't see a mining camp. Maybe he took some gold somewhere, or maybe I'm just blind. Oh, you know what? I don't know. Yeah, he's got nothing on gold now. He's getting loom, and he is feudal age, but he's not going to have any scouts ready. I assumed he went feudal age so that he could make a fire ship, or a fire galley, and sink Ronald's fish. Ronald hurrying up feudal age himself, and he has added a 2nd dock. So Ronald intends to fight for water. It would change the design of the map significantly, I think, if the lake were a bit smaller. I think water would become less powerful in that case, and there might be a bigger variety of land units available. Having said that, I think you still can use mobile units here, but in the late game, I feel like they're less viable. I'd have to check to see exactly how Ray graded the map. So Ronald, this is enough villagers on gold to make a navy of fire galleys, and that is indeed what Ronald is doing. Ronald's going to get over here, and he's going to be pretty disappointed to find only 3 fishing ships. The Napoleon has another plan. He's got a stable, and he's got the food to make scouts, but he's not making them. So maybe the Napoleon is planning to go straight into knights. But he's going to be in for a rude awakening here when Ronald shows up with some fire ships and sinks his fish. The Napoleon needs to cultivate an alternate food source. We need to see him drop a mill on some deer here, or like get horse collar. And so far he's done neither. So he's heavily on gold. He might be thinking about buying food. Oh no, he is making scouts. Okay. He has made a scout. He has another scout somewhere. Okay, he's got 2 scouts, and he's going to go harass Ronald's economy. Okay, so Ronald has made quick work of those fishing ships. There were not that many of them. There were only 3. Has Ronald stopped making fire ships? Yes, he has. That's very smart. So Ronald has switched into fishing ships now. He knows that his opponent is not contesting water. When the scouts show up, Ronald is going to see what his opponent's plan is. And his opponent's plan is scouts. Personally, I feel like scouts should not really be that effective in feudal age on this map, given how closed it is, given that you could potentially build your town center right on a gold. Although, with Ronald's map, actually, scouts could be more effective, because they could get in on this gold, which is not protected by the TC. But had Ronald gone scouts against the Napoleon, Napoleon could have built his town center right here, and he would have had gold, he would have had wood, Okay, so Napoleon has built a bunch of farms, but they're awful Dark Age farms. That he does not have horse collar. I think that was an oversight. I think he meant to get horse collar first so that his farms would have a lot more food. Okay, Ronald building a market here. Ronald has a bunch of extra gold that he put villagers on gold so that he could make fire galleys. And Ronald needs to... Is this walled off here? I can't tell. I think it is, actually. It's walled by the trees. So he put a bunch of villagers on gold because he was expecting to be making fire ships and competing for water. But he hasn't really had to do that, so he's got this extra gold because he never transferred the villagers off of them. So now he's just gonna... Look at... I like how Ronald walled like this. He should have just walled to the edge of the map. Here's Napoleon's scout, though. Yeah, could have walled to the edge of the map, and the pawns would have helped him out, too. So he could have just had all of this area secured. But it's fine. Ronald's got himself a cute little base here. He'll survive. He's not gonna... Maybe he's just gonna buy the stone for a castle. Okay, Ronald is on his way up to the castle age. And the Napoleon building a market, he probably sees that he's got extra gold as well. So he figures... And some extra wood, so he figures I'll use the market a bit. And rearrange my resources. He's selling wood. He buys some food. He could probably sell a little bit more wood. I don't think he realizes that Ronald's up to the castle age yet. And once he gets that gold in, which he garrisons for, he can click up to the castle age. So Napoleon did a scout rush. I think he killed one villager, because the Eco KD says 1 to 3. So he killed one villager, and Ronald killed 3 fishing ships, which is why Ronald has 3 eco kills. Ronald didn't kill any villagers. Oh, we do have an overchop here on this wood line. Will Napoleon find it? Probably not, because he's over here attacking this house. So Ronald will probably see this in the next few seconds. And Ronald is just allowed to freely boom here. Fish booming. Maybe I need to nerf the amount of fish that is in each of these fish deposits to make fishing less important, to make control of the water less important. Okay, so Ronald has noticed the overchop, obviously, but he hasn't really done anything to correct it. I guess he's not really that scared of these scouts. He probably feels that as long as the scouts are attacking the house, he knows where they are. So he's kind of walled this off. Oh, okay, so here we go. So Ronald has a bunch of gold. Oh, he's building another town center. Okay, so he's not dropping a castle. Or maybe he's going to do both. I don't know. Castle drop would be risky, though, because if Napoleon sees it and comes in with the scouts, he could do a lot of damage, kill some villagers that way. So Ronald is going to build a second town center here, and I think he's just gonna boom up. What Ronald needs to do is he needs to find some stone so that he can go into Mangadai. Ronald with the quick wall here. He's building a stable. He should be able to build a couple palisades. There we go. Alright, so it's a pretty closed map. You don't get value for mobility. I know I keep harping on this, but I wanted to make a map where slow units can win too. Okay, so here come the scouts diving that villager. They are not going to get her. No, oh, they do! Wow, okay, Napoleon gets another villager. At this point it doesn't matter so much because Ronald's at 46 villagers. So he's got a 14 villager lead over the Napoleon. Ronald has built 2 stables though. So this tells me that Ronald is planning on going double stable knights or steppe lancers. And because maybe it's just 2 town center, 2 stable here. He figures I've got a bunch of eco for my fishing ships, which were left unharassed, so he can afford to do a 2 stable push and build from 2 town centers at the same time. And indeed, we have knights. We do not have steppe lancers. So I don't really know. I'm not 100% familiar with the statistical differences between knights and steppe lancers. I just know that Mongols get more HP on their steppe lancers versus their knights. But there's probably some reason. I think knights are a little bit more powerful than steppe lancers, but maybe they're not quite as good at killing villagers because they don't have the reach. Somebody in chat who knows all about these dishonorable horde civilizations can tell me. So we got ourselves a knight battle, but Ronald outnumbers Napoleon here, so he's going to kill Napoleon with minimal losses, I think. I don't think Ronald is going to lose more than that 1 knight that he lost He does clean up Napoleon's other knights. Let's take a look at upgrades. Ronald has the first armor. The Napoleon, I don't think Napoleon has any upgrades. No, he has the first armor as well. Okay, so, and we can see it up here. So they both have the first armor. They are mirrored in upgrades, if you will. The Huns have built a second town center. He's got quite a decent farming economy here. But Ronald is going to slip in this way. Napoleon making the same mistake that I did, which was not walling everything off with stone walls that you can. And these knights are just going to run into his eco. Nah, man, it's too late. You can't do that. You have to maybe mass up some knights and fight beneath your town center. That's his best option at this point. Because Ronald is in with the knights, and Ronald can do whatever he wants. Ronald will need to get the next armor upgrade. Napoleon has gotten attack, and Ronald getting attack too. Attack makes sense if... actually, attack doesn't really make sense. Not in this case. In the Imperial Age, attack makes sense, but in Castle Age, you get +1 defense or +1 attack, so why not take the defense? Because it will allow you to tank melee attacks the same as ranged attacks. So in other words, if both players get melee, then their knights will both have an additional attack against the armor of other knights, and they'll still be equally matched. But they won't get any benefit against, for raiding against arrow fire from town centers or something. Whereas if your opponent gets the attack and you get the armor, then your armor negates the attack that they got, so you're still balanced in that respect. The difference is that your armor enables you to survive arrow fire better. So at this stage, they should be getting armor. And Ronald is going to come in here and harass the Napoleon's farms. Napoleon cannot really afford to flirt with these monks here. He needs to make a serious commitment to massing knights, but he hasn't really done so. He does not have nearly enough on gold to keep up with knight production. And Ronald is just running through with knights with reckless abandon. He's going to kill so many things here. So many stone miners. And it's all avoidable, too. Like a stone wall, 4 tiles of stone wall here, and 4 tiles of stone wall here, and this never would have been a problem. And the same thing happened to me. So with that, Ronald Rage is victorious. The Napoleon calls the GG, and we will move on to the next game. So the next game is, we want game 2. I'm not sure which one. Here we go. So it's game 2, and that is Cataclysm. So Gichigame was made by me, inspired by Lake Superior. Cataclysm was made by BP Dredge, and it is inspired by a moon crashing into a planet. So everybody evacuated, and now they're going back to rebuild civilization. So you start on this little island here. You could build a town center there, but it would be a very bad idea. So you get in the transport, and you come over here, and you build an empire on this autumnal planet. And so we just saw Napoleon get in his transport and come on over here. He is the Portuguese, and Ronald Rage is the Vietnamese. I haven't seen this map played out yet. I like this map. It's kind of like Migration, but maybe a little bit more predictable. Like the locations of types of resources, I think, are more assured. And it's got a fun theme to it. It's got some broken buildings and some relics of the past. Alright, so the Napoleon comes in here. This is not a good town center location. A better town center location would be on the north side of this wood line, so that lumberjacks are more efficient. Because the lumberjacks will try to come around to the front of the town center to drop things off. You can't really get them in between. Actually, you could sort of get them in between, but it would be better if they could walk underneath it. Having said that, I have seen worse town center locations on a Nomad style map, so Napoleon is also going to dock. So he's going to build that dock there and take some of these box turtles, probably. And Ronald is building his town center here. I like this town center a little bit better. I think it could be tucked up into this corner slightly more, but Ronald is probably eyeing this stone with some hungry eyes here, and he probably wants to go into rattans. That would be my guess. That's what I would do if I were Vietnamese on this map, probably. Who am I kidding? I'd go elephants. I'd go elephants. I hate archers, but Ronald, I know, likes archers. So Ronald has 2 on wood, and he's got 1 on food here. And unlike Gichigume, you do not start with extra wood on this nomad style map, so you cannot build the fishing ship right away. Ronald's scouting with this goat, and Napoleon is doing the same. So both players are goat scouting. Alright, Napoleon has found a boar. He's bringing this boar in. He needs these villagers to help him kill that boar. Otherwise, it's going to be sort of a waste of effort. Alright, so the Napoleon, he's coming back to get... I guess the boar isn't that far away, so it's not that big of a deal. If the boar had come from, like, over here or something, then that could be pretty annoying to deal with. He's got these villagers working on the boar now, and he's going to bring it in under the town center. Save the lady! Save her! Oh! Oh, wait! Oh, he saved her! Nice. Alright, that's really good that he was able to save that villager. Would have been very unfortunate to lose a villager this early. It seems like there are plenty of boar on this map. Woodlines are big. Nice big woodlines. So that's kind of villager friendly. I know a lot of the Tech Chariot maps are pretty labyrinthine and have like lots of little woodlines, and it's a pain to rebuild the lumber camps. So that's something that's nice about this, is that the woodlines are big. The other thing I like about big woodlines too is that it makes tower rushing more viable, more effective, because there are fewer places for them to go to take wood. You know, you build a tower on their woodline. It doesn't matter if their woodline is huge, or it doesn't matter if their woodline has 4 trees in it. The tower denies the same area. So if the woodline is bigger, you deny more trees for 1 tower. Okay, so the Napoleon keeping his town center busy. He's got more villagers in queue. He only has 2 on wood right now. I think that's his weakness, whereas Ronald's town center is idle. So Ronald, okay, he does queue up another villager now. And the Napoleon has scouted over here. He has found Ronald's dock. So maybe we will see the Napoleon go aggressive on water. Napoleon has not made any... He hasn't made any fishing ships. What's up with that? Ronald has 3 fishing ships now at this point. Ronald has a bigger commitment to wood than the Napoleon does. I've begun to notice this. Ronald cares a lot more about fishing ships than the Napoleon does. I also despise fishing ships. I think that they are poorly done. I think all civilizations need to be able to garrison their fishing ships in their docks, because right now water is just really snowballing. Whoever gets the first warships out wins. And the thing is that if you have, I don't want to necessarily say that, but you know, at least with your town center, if your opponent has army running around and stuff, you at least have some recourse to garrison inside the town center and go to the other side and try to build something and make things happen, or you can wall. But there's none of that on water. There's no walling for water. It's just your opponent gets the military first, they win water, they get a huge eco advantage, and then they win the game a lot of the time. I don't know. And we have a lot of water maps too in the league, so a lot of people that like the hybrid maps are happy about it. But for my own personal play preference, I don't think water is fun. I do not like going water, and I think it costs me games. Okay, so Ronald has 7 on food now. He's got maybe 5 fishing ships. He's got a villager bringing in a boar, and he's got 1 fisherman. Okay, so this is Ronald's plan. He's going to take that boar and use the meat to go up. The villagers are ready to shoot at the boar. They're getting into position, but the boar is not going to die under the town center, unfortunately. But that's fine. That's fine. Ronald has not mastered the... Oh, look at this. Napoleon found himself a lot of goats and sheep and such. Ronald has not mastered the art of town center shooting at boars. It's a very dangerous way to do it. Okay, so Napoleon does have 3 fishing ships out now. He's bringing in another boar. He'll have more than enough food to go up to the next stage. So what do you do as Portuguese versus Vietnamese? I think they both try to go castle units, and indeed they both have built their town center within vision of stone. So I think that is going to be the play for both of them. I think they are both going to go castle unit. And if I had to do an analysis of who has the better castle unit, it would definitely be the Portuguese. I think Rattans are pretty squishy relative to the attack of organ guns. And although it is true that Rattans do one more base damage than crossbows, and will therefore be more effective against organ guns, the organ gun attack is so high that I don't think the extra pierce armor from the Rattans is going to matter. So that would just be my impression. However, based on execution and the Napoleons, I guess their idle time is actually similar. But Ronald is a stronger player. We know this from his statistics. So maybe Ronald will find a way of overcoming that unique unit disadvantage that I believe he has. Maybe he'll simply outplay the Napoleon, and it won't come down to that. It'll come down to something stupid like fire ships killing a bunch of fishing ships for free. The Napoleon is building another dock. Ronald is not. So the Napoleon planning on Castle Age, not Castle Age, but Feudal Age water aggression. If that is the case, though, he's going to need some villagers on gold. And gold could be a problem for both players. Ronald has come down here to this gold, and Ronald is serious about this gold too. So he is going FC. He's got the resources for it. He has not built another dock. He's not planning to. He's getting double bid-axe now. He's got a ton on wood. So he's probably going to rush up a market and a blacksmith pretty soon. That would be my guess. And the Napoleon, I like to think that, okay, so Napoleon has located this gold, and he is on his way there. So he's building a mining camp, and that's going to be his gold. But he's got to be careful, because that gold is pretty forward. And Ronald's gold is forward too. But if a castle got placed on that gold and like denied most of that wood line and that gold, Napoleon would be in serious jeopardy. So Napoleon has 3 working on the gold. He's not going to quite have enough by the time he hits Feudal Age, but I think he's going to have the wood to build a market and a blacksmith. I'm not sure why Napoleon built 2 docks. Maybe he built it for the fish, so he could more efficiently take the fish. But I'm starting to doubt whether or not we'll see any Feudal Age aggression from him. Maybe he's looking at his supply of food and he's saying, you know what, I'm pretty close to clicking up to the Castle Age. Speaking of Castle Age, Ronald is already on his way up to the Castle Age. So what does Napoleon do once he hits Castle Age? Where are the buildings? Where are the buildings? Or Feudal Age, I should say. Nope, okay, he's going Navy. So he's built some demolition rafts. He's going to come in and blow up Ronald's fishing ships. This is very dangerous. Ronald is about a minute and a half away from the Feudal Age, and you know that castle drop is coming. Ronald is heavily on stone. He's already moving across the map. Now, what does Ronald know of? He knows nothing. He just knows where the town center is. Apart from that, he doesn't know where Ronald is, or where the Napoleon is taking resources. He is going to build this outpost here. And that outpost will tell him more. It'll tell him that there's a mining camp here. So that surely would get his attention. Castle right there. This is a devastating castle. I don't think Ronald has any of the range upgrades, but once he gets them, it'll completely reach this gold here. Oh no! The Napoleon is villager rushing this. I think this is the right thing to do, in addition to building a tower. Because I don't think you can fit enough villagers around this, and there's always the risk that your opponent quick walls. And no. Napoleon attacking the base of the castle. That is not good. But with only 2 or 3 villagers building the castle, he should be able to get that tower up and deny the castle easily. He needs to build a tower. Napoleon, make a tower. Earth to Napoleon, build a tower. Oh, no, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. You got to build a tower here. You cannot destroy the castle. He's going to attack the palisade walls. So what you do is you build a tower with as many villagers as possible, and you attack the palisade wall as well with villagers, with any extra villagers that you have. But a tower would be up by now, and Ronald's villagers would be dead, and then he walls in the castle, and then Ronald calls GG. That's the play here. But he's attacking the base of the castle instead because he is not as experienced as Ronald, so he doesn't know what to do in this case. And that's alright. That's kind of part of the league, is to give people the opportunity to play in some different creative situations, like different maps, showcase their strategy. Ronald's strangely bailing on that for some reason, but he is going to come back to finish it. He's 96.64% complete, so I'm not really sure. I think Ronald panicked there as well, but he should 100% be able to complete that. Okay, so now the castle is up. Ronald can garrison the villagers, and now the castle will be shooting. No, you can't take it. Unfortunately, you can't take a castle down with villagers. That would be funny if you could, but I've tried it, and I can confirm that it does not work. Ronald making the first rattan, and the Napoleon calling GG. So the second game goes to Ronald. It would have gone slightly differently. Oh, what have I been doing? I've been giving Napoleon credit for Ronald's wins. There we go. It would have gone very differently if Napoleon had just built a tower, killed everything, and then walled the castle in. But he can do that next time. Somebody does this to him and sends too few villagers. I did like how he responded immediately with all the villagers, though. That is definitely the right thing to do. So now we're going to go on to the third map, which is Wasteland. I like this map. This is a fun map. I went for a wonder victory on Wasteland, so maybe that's what the Napoleon will do. So let's take a look at the civilizations here. Teutons, that's interesting. My opponent also went Teutons. So the Napoleon is Teutons on Wasteland. I do not understand Teutons at all. Like, Teutons, why would you go Teutons on such a wide and open map where there are civilizations with way better cavalry options than Teutons? If you have camels and hussars, you're going to dominate on this map. This map is so open. If you have mobility, if you have fantastic hussars, that's great. And if you have camels that can chase hussars down and counter them hard but still be just as fast, that's even better. Like, this map is all about the camels. This map is a desert map. It was made to embody the desert and everything that is effective on desert, and that is camels. This is a camel map for sure. So, I don't know, maybe the Napoleon will surprise us, and he will have a very creative use for the Teutons that we just don't understand yet. That's one of the really nice things about casting the league, is you get to see all the different things that people come up with, and you actually really can be surprised quite often. But here's Ronald, and Ronald has picked the Saracens. Great civ. Good choice. Pretty forward lumber camp here, but I guess Ronald, to be fair, doesn't know that the Napoleon is literally just right over here. If he did, he might have built his lumber camp here or over here on the side. I guess it could have been worse. He could have built it like right here. So Ronald, unfortunately, has kind of a forward lumber camp. The Napoleon has sort of a forward lumber camp as well. He could have built his back here, but again, they don't know that the other is here yet, at least when they built it. You start with a couple scouts on this map. This map is also by BP Dredge. This is not a space-themed map, though. You start with this Bactrian camel. Now, he can scout, but he can't push deer. And then you start with a regular scout who can scout, but can push deer. And he can lame villagers and attack things. Ronald finding the Napoleon sheep. He's laming the Napoleon, taking his sheep. That's not very nice. But I guess it is a tournament, so... And laming is 100% allowed. We designed the maps to where laming... You should be able to make a comeback, right? If a map is designed so that a player can't make a comeback after being lamed, then that is a failure of the map creator and a failure of the tournament host who procured that map from the map creator. Ronald finding the town center, taking some damage though. He'll be alright. It's a Bactrian camel. So the Napoleon is going to come and he's going to bring in this boar. It's technically a rhinoceros, so it has more food on it. More food means scout rushes are easier. You know, they each have 60 more food in them than a traditional boar. Traditional boars have 340, and these guys have 400. And so you got 120 extra food there between two animals, so you can get up to the next age faster. The Napoleon attacking Ronald's Bactrian camel here. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that camel can get away. It's fast enough, unless you stop. Ronald. Oh, he must have been luring a boar or something. Yep, here it is. So Ronald has lost his Bactrian camel to the Napoleon's aggression. So Ronald's taking his first lurable animal. He's got another rhinoceros here. Oh, come on, Ronald. Build that house right here. Make a house wall. Would it really have killed you to walk 4 more tiles and build that house in a wallable position? Oh, well. It's fine. I nitpick. Oh! What is this? Ronald trying to steal a boar from the Napoleon. Ronald just laming the Napoleon to death. Look at this. No wonder Ronald lost his Bactrian scout. I don't even know where that came from. So the Napoleon is going to be hurting for food here. He's not going to have enough food to go. Luckily for the Napoleon, he has Teutons. He has Teutons, and he can build cheaper farms. So he'll have to... Maybe Ronald is helping the Napoleon scout rush by getting him on farms sooner. That was quite the boar steal, though. Ronald with Saracens. I will say Teutons have a better economy. Okay, so Ronald is doing the house wall now. That's good. Teutons have a better economy than Saracens early on. They get those cheaper farms, and that can really help. Make sure that you get those farms down and have a solid economy. Saracens don't have an eco bonus until they get a market up, maybe. But then, you know, it's trade. You still, you know, it's not a bonus, really. It's just less of a penalty. That their trade penalty is less. Napoleon is going to wall this villager. Oh, no, he sees it. He's going to bring her in, maybe, to right here, and then complete that wall. Why is he doing this? Why is he giving away all this map? Just wall across to the berries. It's the same distance, plus you contain the berries that way. But he is walling up. I think he's because he's afraid of what Ronald will do with all that extra food. Ronald going on to gold, so it's going to be Saracen archers. Probably. Although I don't see a barracks yet from Ronald, so it could also just be an FC. Maybe he's doing an FC and a crossbow? Seems like a lot of villagers to send over to gold for now. Ronald has a shirking villager who is hiding behind this palm tree. He just built this palisade wall. Okay, Ronald found him. We are building some palisade walls across here, so I think Napoleon is going to be able to walk. Ah, okay, alright, good. He canceled his wall and he's building something a little bit more reasonable. He's building a barracks, a house, and a palisade. And the Napoleon is probably going to go scouts. That would be my guess. Because he's got nothing on gold. So, okay, so here is Ronald's barracks. The Napoleon finds it, and he denies it. This is huge for the Napoleon. He just needs to pay attention, otherwise Ronald will garrison his town center. Get out of there. So the reason this is a big deal is because the Ronald, his scout is weak from luring the boar, from stealing the boar. So if he had not lost that much health to the town center, he potentially could have even denied that barracks from 2 villagers here. And Ronald building an archery range, I think right here would be a better location for the archery range, and then he could kind of wall off to the side. But he's scared of scouts. He wants to be closer to his town center. So Ronald with only 1 lumber camp, though, to go archers. Oh, he's building a market. So an archery range and a market to be his buildings. Maybe Ronald will sell his stone and buy a little bit of food and then go up. And it'll be some kind of FC into crossbow. Here is the stable that we predicted for the Napoleon. He's got 1 scout that's been built. He's got another scout, but I think that's a starting scout. And he's got other stuff over here, his back-trained camel and apparently a hut. So he doesn't have that much military out yet, and he's not building it, even though he can afford to. So the Napoleon needs to get this stable working, if he's serious. Maybe he's decided, he's seen Ronald's walls, and he's decided one scout is all that I'm going to make. That could be the case. Ronald is buying food for some gold. He's taking advantage of the Saracen market abuse. And he's got a rhinoceros coming in. And he could cancel that. No, he can't cancel that villager, actually. He has made a few skirmishers. I don't understand that at all. He's going to fight off these scouts because there's only 2 of them, and one of them is very weak with the spearmen. So Ronald has just made a few counter units to keep himself alive, and he is going to go Castle Age. Meanwhile, the Napoleon is getting a wheelbarrow. It seems like he has the farmers to do it. It makes sense. Ronald, no wheelbarrow yet, but on his way up to the Castle Age. So these farms were cheaper, and that really helped out the Teutonic economy. Probably doesn't need as many on wood, and could probably use some more farms and some gold miners. Looks like he's building more farms now. But I don't know. I guess he just decided not to go any more scouts. Ronald moving his little counter army, his AI army up here to protect this walling villager, and he's gonna close up this opening here. He's gonna build a blacksmith. I would have built this blacksmith up here, but it's fine. He still has the wood, and what are you gonna do with 4 tiles of, 2 or 3 tiles even of trees? Rebby Thacker says, what game is that? This is Age of Empires 2, Definitive Edition. We are casting a set from Cuprum Division of Alchemy League. This is Ronald Rage versus Napoleon. Ronald is up 2 games. It's a play all 3. Because the Napoleon is going to rush up a blacksmith. Oh, it's because Napoleon probably noticed that he has the resources to advance to the Castle Age. And so he just needs the buildings. So he's going to rush up the blacksmith because it's the fastest to build. And he clicks up. Yep. So he's on his way up to the Castle Age, which is good because Ronald just got there. So he's probably a little bit nervous. Now the question is, what is Ronald going to do with the Castle Age? And he's going to do what he knows and what he loves, which is boom. So Ronald has built another town center. And he has the stone to build another one. He does not have the wood. He wants to wall this off. Napoleon has actually a couple scouts here. I don't know what happened to Ronald's military. Oh, he manages to quick wall it. Nice. So he doesn't have to worry about these scouts harassing any villagers. They're not very strong scouts, but it still would have been a nice opportunity. Ronald has a scout up here. It's a starting scout, and I don't see what happened to Ronald's... Oh, here they are. Ronald's four-man army. So the Napoleon has built another stable back here. Interesting. So maybe the Napoleon plans to go heavily into knights in the Castle Age, and he built this stable here so that Ronald will not see the stable, and the Napoleon is getting armor. So this tells me that the Napoleon is planning on going knights. I guess he hasn't seen a stable from Ronald, so he knows that Ronald will not immediately be able to switch into camels. Maybe he's expecting archers because he saw the archery range. Let's just click and make sure that he saw I'm pretty sure he saw the archery range. He should have seen there. Yeah, he knows about the archery range. And he actually knows a lot about Ronald's base in general. His scouting is quite good. So he's working on this, trying to get in. Ronald has spearmen here ready. Ronald getting both of the mining upgrades. So maybe Ronald, being so heavily on stone, is planning for Mamelukes. Mamelukes could be pretty fun. They're a very powerful unit. They're quite expensive. I generally don't bother with them as Saracens because they're slower to get started than camels. But if you can get to them, they're good. They're definitely... Okay, Napoleon also adding some town centers. So, I'm not sure... Maybe he wants to go 3 town center boom plus 2 stable production on knights. I feel like he can't afford that. He's only got 34 villagers. So we got some knights coming around. We're going to look for some damage. They have the first armor, but not the second. First armor only costs food. And the Napoleon should be able to boom from 3 town centers now. Rage only has 2. So I'm not really sure. Surely Rage would be capable of putting up a 3rd town center if he wanted. And surely Rage would be capable of building military units if he wanted. But he's just sort of in this agnostic state of, okay, here it is. Defensive castle. I don't think this is open here. I think this is technically blocked off by, yeah, it's blocked off by trees. So Ronald is going to be able to get this defensive castle up, and then he'll be able to make Mamelukes. And that will significantly complicate Napoleon's campaign to kill Ronald with knights. But what I'm saying is that Ronald could be building more town centers now, but he hasn't. But he also hasn't built military. So what's Ronald spending his resources on? I guess getting this castle up and then making Mamelukes is his plan. And he just figures, I can't afford Mamelukes and 3 town center villager production simultaneously. So the castle's up, fires on one of the knights, kills it. The knights are forced to withdraw. Napoleon will have to hit this other side here where there is no castle. But Ronald will make Mamelukes. He's building a stable now, presumably so that he can get husbandry and speed up his Mamelukes, make them a little bit faster. There are technologies that can be researched at the stable that will help Ronald's Mamelukes, namely bloodlines and husbandry. So we might see that come in. And Ronald has queued the Mamelukes up. Yep. Alright, so here's Ronald's town center. He is building it now. He wasn't ready to build it earlier, but he is building it now, and it's on the gold. It's a decent town center. It's a little close to the map edge for my liking, but you could make the argument that's the best place to put it based on the shape of the gold. So Ronald adding his 3rd town center now. So the question is, who made the bigger investment? Did the Napoleon make a bigger investment with his knights, or did Ronald make the bigger investment with his castle and choice of Mamelukes later? Let's take a look at the villagers. Ronald has a 10 villager lead over the Napoleon, owing to the fact that he was in Castle Age first. Napoleon, in theory, has 3 town centers, or had 3 town centers before Ronald did, so he could have produced villagers faster. But that's only theory. It's not perfect. It can be difficult to balance an economy and consistently make villagers out of all the town centers that you have. So here is Ronald's Mameluke army. Is he still making them? Yes, he is still making them. Or he was still making them. Maybe he decided not to anymore. So if you're Teutons and you see these Mamelukes, what do you do? What do you guys think the Teutons should do against Mamelukes like these? I think monks could be a really good option, but the Napoleon is only mid 1000. He's like 1058 elo. I don't know if players make monks at that elo. So maybe he makes pikemen, lots of them. Mamelukes can kite pikemen, but if they are backed into a corner, then, and your production is good enough, I guess, you can replace the pikemen from the Mameluke kiting. It could be effective, but knights will be very bad against these Mamelukes. There's never really a situation in the game where, given an equal investment in resources, where you can go mounted units against Mamelukes. They're just hard countered by it. So the Napoleon has to withdraw. He's getting the armor. I think this is a waste of time. I think he needs to go into siege and pointy boys. He needs to get like a ton of scorpions or something. I don't know. It's not going to be easy for the Teutons to counter these Mamelukes. I think monks are pretty much the best way. But maybe there's a counter out there that I haven't thought about that Napoleon is going to make. Have an answer for it. He has gotten a relic. A standard victory is enabled. So if he gets all the relics, he could actually force Ronald to come to him. So he's picked up this relic. and it's time to come home with it before Ronald's Mamelukes get smart and come out here. They could very easily kill this monk. And this is all open. This used to be forest, but Ronald chopped it down and built farms on it, all in the name of progress. And alright, but Ronald is playing defensively. He's keeping the Mamelukes at home. Doesn't want these knights to come in and raid him, which I can understand. So I think the Napoleon is planning on a relic victory. He's sending the monks out. He's got lots of monks moving out to pick up relics. And he knows where they all are, too, because we checked his scouting. Laxmi Nishad says, hi, GHGGG. Oh, hello, and GHGGG to you as well. I'm glad that you guys are here. Makes me feel better about doing these casts when people watch them. They are time-consuming, but I think that they are entertaining. And I think that these maps are top-notch Age of Empires. These are the best maps in the world. We even wrote specifications for them. We didn't write, you know, a specific component specification for each map. We didn't say, oh, you know, this map has to look like a wasteland. But we had a lot of generic requirements. Napoleon coming in for a castle drop against Ronald. That is a big mistake, though, because Ronald is going to be... this is never going to work. Ronald is going to be Imperial Age in 30 more seconds. And so Ronald will just make trebuchets and treb this castle down. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Nightbot is pretty protective of me. I did not see what you said. Spamming emotes. Ah yes, no emotes. I guess you could do a few emotes, but Nightbot doesn't like the emotes. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so the castle goes up. Ronald will he'll sell some wood. He'll make trebuchets from both castles, and then he will begin trebbing that castle down immediately. So the castle goes up at the cost of many knights. If Napoleon could get one more relic, he could trigger a relic victory, and that would be really good for him. Okay, here comes the monk. This monk, I believe this is the monk that will get that relic, or will attempt to get the relic. But the big thing is the Napoleon does not understand how much danger he is in with all of these Mamelukes. I think that's the main point. This is enough Mamelukes to just lay ruin to his entire town. He needs an answer to this, and he's not getting it. Ballistics, fletching, that's not going to help you out here. Ronald is going to start pumping out trebuchets, and he's just going to tear this castle down, and then his base is going to be wide open. He needs an answer. He needs lots of halbs. He needs lots of siege. He hasn't made it. Where's the monk? He has made monks, but I have not seen him get any conversions. Having said that, though, the Napoleon has killed 15 villagers somehow, which is pretty good. This is not enough monks against this mass of Mamelukes. I am impressed, though, to see Napoleon making monks and using them. That is good. And he did he converted this Mameluke. That's funny. Okay, so this castle is going to go down. Ronald has too many trebuchets working on it. Napoleon has resources too. He's got resources. He could be halbs right now. He could have halbs and siege onagers and all those nasty Teutonic things. No, no, he's making more stables, you guys. No. Oh, he'll learn. He'll learn. There is nothing that can come out of this building that does not get absolutely destroyed by Ronald's army, and he's going to find that out the hard way pretty soon. These Mamelukes just massacre. They're going to massacre anything mounted. And they're elite Mamelukes, too. Ronald got the upgrade. Okay, the Napoleon is getting arson, which is interesting. I'm not sure why he's getting arson. Arson would make his infantry more effective against buildings. Alright, I like this castle. This is a good defensive castle. Okay, and he's making barracks. So this is what he needs. Smart. And he's getting help. Okay, so he is doing the right things. It might be, and he's getting cavalry. That's not right. That's wrong. But the halb is right. He needs more on wood, though. He can't have only one on wood. He's going to need to be pumping out halbs like a madman. And he's going to need to be able to make them fast enough to where he can overpower these Mamelukes. Because the Mamelukes are going to kite halbs. But, yeah, you can't make cavaliers against these. These These things are devastating against knights and cavaliers and all manner of mounted units, really. Ronald coming forward, he's going to build a castle on this hill. This is a good castle, and he can take the gold too. And he's preparing for the final siege. Okay, we got some helps. Yeah, they don't have any armor upgrades. They just have the 2 base armor from being Teutons. And these trebuchets are coming in. They're going to open this up, and they're going to rush in here. The Napoleon has 4 relics out of the 5. So he did do very well on relics. He's got a ton of gold. If he had gotten this last relic, he would have triggered a relic victory. And this is looking like Ronald's game here. 110 villagers to 75. He's going to need a lot more halbs than this. Should have done the halb a lot sooner. Should not have wasted time with cavalier upgrade, or really even any cavalry. You don't really want to go cavalry against the Saracens. Unless you can make sure that they're never in the position to mass produce many camels. You really don't want to go cavalry against the Saracens. Like if it's feudal age or something and you're scout rushing them, or you're doing all-in scouts, and maybe you're doing a follow-up with knights and the Saracens are really hurt and they like can't afford camels because their gold was denied for half the game, that's fine. But just like you could do anything you wanted, both players leaving each other alone, and you choose to go into cavalry against a civilization that is anti-cavalry with their unique unit, and you know that they're making tons of their unique unit, that's yeah, he's gonna. This is too many Mamelukes here. It's just too late. There's not enough halbs at this point. You need a lot of halbs to counter Mamelukes. They kite them. They're kind of like part cavalry archer, and they can kill the halbs before the halbs get close. Castle going down. Is Napoleon housed from that? No, he is not. He's not housed from it. He's got more stuff over here. And Napoleon calling the GG. Ronald with the sweep here. Remember that Ronald does have like 300 elo on the Napoleon. So there was a big elo advantage here. And ordinarily 300 elo is not allowed for our tournaments. We don't... Come on. Why? Adman says www. Something with W's. Alright, it looks like I cannot adjust the score, unfortunately, for some reason. So Ronald won against the Napoleon 3-0, but remember that Napoleon is technically, he's literally out of his division here. For the purpose of convenience for the league, we combined some divisions, and the Napoleon was in a lower division than Ronald, but we authorized Napoleon to take some handicap, but I don't know if he remember to take it. Sometimes you forget to assign the handicap in the lobby. He could have up to 5%, and that's to help him deal with experienced players like Ronald. But overall, I still think that they were entertaining games. I enjoyed watching them, and I hope that you did as well. I'm looking forward to casting the next set, which will be sometime later on tonight, or not tonight, actually, today. Maybe within an hour or so. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and hopefully I will see you for the next cast sometime soon.